That part is printed with Siraya Blue Lava Black resin. In this video, we're testing Siraya Blue Lava Black with 6 simple tests to see if this resin lives up to the description on the Siraya website. At the time of recording, this is a fairly recent release for Siraya, and the resin is aimed squarely at people looking for a resin that you can make functional parts with. Siraya suggests this resin is good for engineering prototypes, mechanical aids, fixtures and jigs, and medical devices. And I've modelled up a range of prints to see if the resin lives up to that description. Now, I can't test the lab results because, well, I don't have that equipment, but I reckon most people who are considering this resin, well, they just want to make stuff that doesn't break. And we're certainly going to see about that. This review was partly inspired by my video on the original blue resin, which I purchased myself. Here it is right here. And this really didn't work for me. Now, Siraya was very kind to send me this newer resin for testing and comparing against my experience with the original blue, but they didn't have any say in how I tested it. So let's get into it. This is the part that I printed with the original blue resin. It's an adapter that fits into this track saw. At the time, I was looking for a resin that would stand up to workshop use and not chip or crack when in service. You can see that the print quality is excellent, good detail and accuracy from my Anycubic M7 printer. Now let's use that same drop test with this Blue Lava Black. I usually do this test 10 times. The first drop was a glancing blow, which resulted in some scuff marks. Sadly, the resin didn't survive one full impact. I was surprised and a bit disappointed by this result. Other resins I've tried are way more resilient than this, and still manage to hold their shape despite being exposed to repeated impacts. Now for the Vise test. Based on the drop test result, I wasn't expecting this to go well. Now, of course it's going to break, but it's how it breaks that's of interest. This resin is way more on the rigid end of the scale rather than the flexible end, and you can see that it doesn't take much compression to get sudden failure. Next up is this eye nut. Firstly, let me say how well this resin prints for this shape. There's a really nice sheen to this resin, and I reckon the surface finish looks great. I'm tapping an M10 thread into this eye nut. I was expecting this to be quite straightforward, but I was a bit shocked when the resin chipped out early in the tapping process. The lack of flexibility I mentioned earlier is probably a factor here. But how much weight can it hold? Using this simple rig, I'll test my sitting weight and fully suspended weight. Now, I've done this test with other resins and achieved good results. But this time, well, it might be a little bit different, so I admit that I was a little more nervous this time. I weigh about 85 kilograms, and you can see that the eye nut holds my seated weight with no problem. But that's not going to be the full 85 kilos. So I was extra careful when testing my fully suspended weight. This time I was actually a bit nervous about the thread just breaking away under the weight, but you can see that it holds quite well. Now look, it's not a dynamic load, and it wasn't under load for very long. But it didn't break. So could you use Blue Lava Black to prototype parts like this? Well, yes, you probably could. Just be careful when tapping threads. In this test, I've designed this simple extrusion. I'm including this test to see how the resin prints straight edges on relatively thin walls. I've designed this extrusion to take 12mm timber for another project that I'm working on, where I'm experimenting with alternatives for simple joinery. More about that in another video. I used Gorilla Glue to glue the timber in place. And then once the glue is fully cured, I'm testing how well this resin takes to the glue and how much force is required to either break the print or cause serious distortion. Now in this test, I was pleased to see results that were better than expected. This extrusion has a wall thickness of just 2mm. I was expecting it to snap easily, but I was surprised to see that the extrusion had quite a bit of flex and required a reasonable amount of bending force to break. The glue also adhered to the resin really well. I'm experimenting with using these extrusions in a box construction, and I reckon this could work quite well. And in this case, I think the resistance to breaking was partly due to the design of the extrusion. I'll need to do some more work on that, so get subscribed and stay tuned. This part is a replacement for the original adapter for this vacuum hose. The bit that I'm interested in here is the small tab that needs to be flexible enough to click into place, but rigid enough to hold its shape. I was initially quite impressed with the print, but after relatively light bending forces, the tab actually, well, snapped off. Again, the lack of flexibility makes this resin less suitable for a part where some bending is required, like assembly parts which require flexible components to snap together. This mudguard for a mountain bike, or fender, is the only part in these tests that I didn't create the model for. It was a real challenge to print. Being super thin, I knew this would get all kinds of layer lines and step lines throughout the print. But even though it was so thin, the print did finish successfully. This part needs to be really flexible over a wide distance relative to its thickness, and you can see that there is flexibility in this print at this thickness. It's when I tried to install it onto the forks that the failure occurred. Until then, the flexibility had been okay, but I'd obviously reached the fatigue point and it just snapped. And then with a little bit more flexing, it continued to break into lots of little pieces. So you can see that if you're looking for flexibility, this resin is limited. This next part is a section of a model bridge I designed for a Grade 9 Engineering Studies class. I didn't have enough resin to print all 3 sections, so I printed the full bridge using Siraya Build, which I purchased myself, and I'll do a run-through of that experience in another video. I was really impressed with how this printed. The flat deck and beam sections have a 1.5mm wall thickness, and the shape of the curve and the corners of these long edges have printed with good accuracy. These protruding sections here are designed to fit into the next section with an interference fit of 0.1mm. And you can see that they come together really well, not too tight, not too loose. There's a good amount of flex in the deck, but then again, I'm not pushing it to its breaking point. Well, partly because I want to keep this section for class demonstrations. But it shows that you can make a prototype like this and handle it to some extent without it cracking or breaking. And another good point about this resin is that it claims to be biocompatible for external skin-safe application. Now look, I have no way of verifying that, but the claim is there, so handling it like this for prototyping and design development, well, it should be just fine. Now, a quick comment on exposure times. Recommended exposure is 4.5 seconds, and I ran tests from 1 second all the way up to 4.75 seconds. Now, I found that you can get printable results across that range, but I got the most detail with the recommended 4.5 seconds. Although the recommended lift and retract speeds were impossibly slow, so I used the default speed settings for the Anycubic M7 and it worked just fine, and so much faster. So what do we make of this resin? Well, these aren't lab tests, but there's a range of applications here that should give you a good idea of what this resin might be able to do for your projects. It prints with good surface finish, it can handle straight edge printing quite well, it's quite rigid and it will hold its shape. However, it's less flexible than other prototyping or engineering resins that I've used. Now, I'd like to mention again that Siraya did send me this resin for free for testing and experimentation. Would I use this resin for my projects? Well, let me be really clear about this. No, I wouldn't. But I'd also like to emphasize that I'm talking about my use cases. Yours might be very different, and it might be just what you're after. There are so many resins on the market nowadays, and you really do need to test them exactly for your use case. But look, a couple of things to note. The price. The resin is reasonably priced for its performance at around $40 US at the time of recording. Now, that's fairly mid-range pricing for a resin that can do all of this, and I reckon that's probably about right. There's a link in the description if you'd like to know more about Blue Lava Black and how to buy it. And if you found those tests useful, then hit the like button, leave a comment, and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Yeah.